Hey, it's Bernie here. Our Community Builders cohort is opening up again soon. If you love building and connecting people in communities of any kind around co-working, then this 12-week program is designed just for you. You'll get accountability, you'll get peer-to-peer learning, and you'll get the support you need to achieve 3 valuable goals in a set time frame, all while learning how to build a community and be part of one. This is ideal for people who work on their own, are independent economic agents, are creators, or like building something to help other people. Join the waiting list to be the first to know when we go live.
This podcast was brought to you by Nook Wellness Pods. They combine noise and light management in a personal space where people can withdraw to recharge, focus, and connect better. Check the show notes for more information. Now on to the show. Welcome back to the Co-working Values Podcast. Today we're talking to Loubna Messaoudi, social entrepreneur and CEO and founder of Biwalk Rising. Loubna, where are you in the world right now?
Hi, thank you for having me. I am based in Berlin right now and try to enjoy the last sun of the summer.
We've asked Loubna to come and talk to us about the IDEA Handbook. IDEA is an acronym, stands for Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Accessibility. Loubna, what was your involvement with the production of this book?
I think my involvement, because I came really late to this project, I can't take so much credit for being so intensely involved with it. But it is just a topic that I'm really passionate about. And as a member of the Coworking Assembly, of the European Coworking Assembly, I just felt like this is where I can maybe put some of my knowledge to use. I'm running an intersectional co-working space exclusively for women, trans, inter, and non-binary people of color. And we are having or trying to use intersectionality as a tool. That means how can we use intersectional justice in practice to dismantle the existing systems that are usually keeping specific groups out. So I tried to get some of that, what we, the kind of knowledge that we gained in the last few years in our space, so that other people could use some of those ideas to transform their co-working space into a really diverse and inclusive space, or actually maybe more than just diverse and inclusive. Hopefully it can help co-working spaces to transform their structure that is usually or most of the time unconsciously reproducing the existing exclusive structures.
What do you think are the most important things to have in a work environment so that it feels safe for marginalized people?
That's a good question, because I feel like a lot of things have happened, and people are really trying to do things better. But sometimes it's, I think, the lack of knowledge what a specific group needs. And I think if I do something, even if with the best intentions, if I do something for a group that I know little about their needs, it gets difficult and it feels not authentic enough. So I can sense it if someone wants me to feel safe, but has not the right tools to make me feel safe. And I think this is a crucial part. I think people have to start with themselves first, with their awareness, unlearning things, and then maybe invite the right people to the table, to the decision-making table, so that everyone feels heard.
What do you mean by, can you tell us a little bit more about what you mean by knowing how it feels when someone is being inauthentic with their attempt to make you feel safe in the space. How can you tell?
Um, I think most of the time it stays on the superficial level. Nowadays, and not only in co-working spaces, other spaces, events, and whatnot, a lot of people claim that this space is a safer space. And all they do is telling everybody to be tolerant and nice to each other. And that's it. That's a nice attempt, but that doesn't really show me that they have done the work. What does that mean, safety? From whom? And what are the consequences if there is a lack of safety? Who do I go to? How are they prepared? How did they brief everyone what safety means, for example? Um, so if it's just the attempt of, yes, I know it's right to invite everybody and everybody should be feeling safe, and then it stops there, then it does not feel genuine enough, or yeah, there's not really a lot behind it. But when people actually sit down, do some work, then you can see that, because then there are some rules to that safer space and some explanation. And I know exactly what is going to happen if I don't feel safe, for example.
How about your company, Biwalk Rising? What does that mean? Is that an acronym?
Yes, it stands for Black Indigenous Women of Color. And we have well, we actually would like to change the name because it's not inclusive enough. That's how we started. But with the name is excluding trans, inter, and non-binary people of color. So that is, for example, one learning that we had along the way, that it is not enough just to think of others and saying, yes, you are part of it. You actually have to do something. So we are trying now to find the right name and to change it, hopefully as soon as possible, so that everybody that we actually trying to reach feel addressed.
Was that a difficult transition? I guess what I'm asking is, when you start as a focus to on one single marginalized group, and then you begin to include others, how do you do that while still ensuring that each group gets enough, gets the attention that they need, so that their needs are met?
I think we have like the perfect example of how things also can go wrong. We also had the best intention, but didn't think it through. And then we stuck with a structure that is automatically excluding a few people. So it was a painful journey. We had a lot of discussions with some of our members, who is allowed to be there, who not, and why, and whose safety is going to be at risk, and why, and who's going to make that decision, and so on. So it was a long discussion between our team, but also our members. A lot of them had a lot of expertise. And then it really took us a few months, and it still was hard to convince everybody that we did the work, or we are still doing it. I think it's an ongoing learning process. I don't think we will ever arrive. And yeah, and to be honest, some we lost in that process. I think some do not believe that we've came a long way, and others do. So that is also something that everybody, I think, needs to keep in mind. It is not about pleasing everyone. It is not about reaching every single one, because that is not possible. It is really about yourself. We are happy with where we are going, and we know that we are doing the work. And then there are still people who need more proof, which is fine. I hope we will deliver those in the future. But yeah, so I cannot say that this is how everybody should do it and then everything will be fine. I think it's a painful, long journey to unlearn things and to change your structure. And sometimes you're not getting the reward from outside. Sometimes people will still be skeptical, and that's fine. You have to take it and learn from it and then hope for the best.
That sounds like you've had to have some really difficult conversations.
Yes, very much so. Because, like I said, we had like the best intention, but we lacked some important information. And I think the first time when you hear that, when someone accuses you of something, it's not a nice feeling. It doesn't matter how professional you are, in what environment it is, in private or at work. When someone criticizes that you are maybe reproducing a system that you are actually trying to fight, that's not a nice thing. So to overcome that personally and then trying to learn from it, and then move on with the work, it's really not an easy thing to do, and it also takes time. So on the other side, I hope that people on the receiving end also give you some time to adjust, because it is a process.
Do you think that some of those people you were mentioning before who give a surface level or a shallow nod to inclusivity and safe spaces, do you think that perhaps that unwillingness to have a difficult conversation is part of that?
Um, maybe that is part of that, because if you learn something new or unlearn something, it puts a huge question mark on the entire system that you believed before, and that's a huge big change. So I think that's one part of it. The other part that I think I have observed is that people are scared to lose power, but by inviting other people to the decision making table, does not mean you lose power. It's about power sharing. You're still going to have the same one, but other people also going to have that. And in a society where usually it's only one at the top, and then you use the elbow mentality to stay there, it's really hard for people to grasp that nothing will be taken away from you. You will only gain something. And I think a lot of people are in disbelief.
What is the elbow mentality?
Yeah, so like I said, it's that maybe I think it's just a German saying that I'm trying to translate. um, it's about you keep moving forward and you push your elbow to your neighbors, so you are the only one who is going to make it to the top, and then you stay there and you push everyone away with your elbows. So it's not a nice thing. It's not an inclusive approach. So what we actually would like to do is lift each other up, especially the ones who need a little bit more assistance because they can't push themselves up, or they've been oppressed to do that. They've been pushed down their entire life. So yeah, that would be actually something nice to see, especially in powerful positions, that people, yeah, share their power with others.
And there's a lot of ways that you can help people find safer spaces. What made you choose co-working?
I believe, or I think the first thing was I was really interested in this new work culture. I found that it was time to change how we work. Jobs have changed, but how people have been working together was still very conservative. So I was fascinated by that idea and had a look around. What is there? How are those co-working spaces work? And I think Berlin, when I started my research, was on, I think, at number 3 behind New York and London when it comes up to the amount of co-working spaces. But then realized quickly, yes, a few things are new, but the hierarchies and the foundation of those systems are almost everywhere the same. Because when people don't start thinking about the foundation and core of a structure, everything goes back to default. And one issue in Berlin, at least, was that a lot of co-working spaces, most of them, 99%, I would say, been founded by white cis heterosexual men. So although they don't want to exclude everybody else, but automatically they just addressed the needs of other white heterosexual men from the middle or upper middle class. So they were automatically very homogeneous.
Had you had some experience using co-working spaces before that inspired you to do that?
I've not using, but the one that inspired me the most was one that was founded in New York, The Wing. I think it is for women only. I'm not sure how gender inclusive it is. I can't remember. But it looked really welcoming. The design, let's start with the design. I think if, well, it depends on the gender, but it really, I think it shows which gender has used their idea of design into that space. It felt welcoming and warm, and had a lot of nuances that I was interested in, how to build a network, etc. And that inspired me a lot, to create something similar here.
What, in your opinion, are some amenities or features that a co-working space should have to make anyone in the communities that you've described so far feel welcome as soon as they walk in and have that kind of warm feeling?
Yeah. Again, I'm not sure if it's easy to really address everyone. But I think every co-working space has a niche or an idea what they're doing, like addressing creatives or whatnot. And even in those niches, you can always think of what does a specific group usually attract the most. And I think, for example, if we want to address single parents, what kind of help can we provide that they feel comfortable there? Is it childcare? Is it nursing room, and so on? But I don't think it is possible to address everybody. Then again, I think people are bending back and forwards and again lose that authenticity. Stick to a group and make it as diverse as possible.
I think what I'm asking is more like, for example, if a trans person was to walk into a co-working space, I think that non-gendered bathrooms would immediately make them feel like, okay, this is
Yeah.
okay. I'm safe here. People, they get it. What would be something, for example, of your core group at Biwalk Rising that would make them know immediately that they were welcome and understood there?
Yeah, I think like bathroom labels, etc., asking people for their pronouns, and so on is the first step, and I think it gives you like the idea that people started somewhere to do their homework. What we do is also to give every member that joins us a briefing, and a co-working a workshop that everyone has to attend on sensibility on racism, gender, etc. Because we cannot see in people's heads. Everyone is trying to be their best version and don't want to hurt anyone. But if there's a lack of knowledge and you don't know which questions are allowed to ask and what not, and then there is this a situation in the kitchen area where people start asking you questions that feel uncomfortable, etc. So we are trying actually to have everybody who's using our space to be on the same page. So we're trying to spread the knowledge that everyone who is in the space has, and so that it doesn't only look like it's safe because there are gender neutral bathrooms, but it also feels safe because people approach you in a certain manner.
Now, before we go, I'd like to ask you if there is one message that you could give to everyone listening right now that they could take away from that, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a really you're putting me on the spot here, Emily. um, I would just really I think would like to ask people why. If they really want to have a diverse and inclusive space, ask yourself why you want to have that. Yes, it is politically correct, but really ask yourself about the intrinsic and extrinsic motivation that you have, and then see what comes out of it. And I think there's a huge learning from that process to start with yourself and think of why do I want something and how can I really contribute to a more diverse and inclusive space.
Definitely room for thought there. Thank you so much, Loubna, for giving us your time and your expertise. And I hope that we can have you back on the show sometime.
I would love that. Thank you so much.